Welcome to another edition of Cavanaugh's Corner. On the road with Unite. We're in Everett, Massachusetts this morning. We're coming down to support some workers who are involved in an organizing campaign at a curtain factory down here. The workers tried to organize a union to protest the conditions under which they're being forced to work. 10 of them were fired immediately. They've been out on strike, and we're down here to help them today. So that's about all you're going to hear from me for right now. And let's go on and find out what it's all about. Could you tell us, Ed, what this is all about? This is for our show, and so we just arrived here in Everett. Okay. You got a minute just to tell us what's going on?
Yeah, Everett, Mass. is a working class community adjacent to Boston. And we started an organizing campaign here about 3 weeks ago. We signed up a majority of the people who we visited in their homes, and the morning after we signed everyone up, we passed out a leaflet in front of the shop. At that point, the management came out and fired several people on the picket line for engaging in legal union activity. At that point, 50 or 60 of the people in the plant walked out with them and have been out for now a little more than 2 weeks. So we represent a majority of the workers outside of the plant, and even the workers who are working inside the plant are very supportive of this campaign. And what we're looking for is recognition, union recognition. We want to negotiate a contract with these people. Richmark Curtains is a company that works people very hard, abuses them, times them when they go to the bathroom, pays them very low wages, and in addition to that, when they go home at night, they're expected to take work home with them, just like the 19th century. And they take bundles of work home with them, and they work on that work at home. Sometimes their children work on it, and we have a great deal of evidence to that effect. We've got photographs. We've asked the Attorney General of Massachusetts to expedite an investigation into those practices that have been illegal in Massachusetts since 1909, and he's in the process of doing that right now. But the real issue here is to make sure that we get a union recognized and a contract negotiated in that plant so that we don't have to go that route. We think we can clean up the plant. It's a profitable company. They're in a new building. We can do a great deal of good for those workers once we're recognized and negotiate a contract.
Hey, Richard, man.
What are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you? Richard, we're actually filming. This is Richard Benzinger. He was the organizing director for the AFL-CIO.
This is one of my heroes when I first got involved in the union in Colorado.
Can you imagine that?
He was the only person in the meeting in Chicago I walked up to who didn't say, when I worked at the head ski company, skis, you're the only person who didn't say, "There's not a needle in your plant? There's not a needle in your plant?"
Well, that was the old days. Now there's not any needles in our plants either, but that's another story. Anyway, Richard, you're on Cavanaugh's Corner, man. This is like the hottest labor talk show in all of southern Maine. And
I believe it.
We're really glad to have you on.
Well, I've heard about this.
Oh, yeah, really? Okay.
Right, I've heard about the show. It's great. It's down in Washington, D.C. It's #1.
It is. I know. We're big. So you guys want to tell us what the plan is here? And we're just going to try and get some film of what we're doing. And is there a plan?
Is their plan? Get a workers a contract.
Okay, cool.
So basically the drill here is a few speeches. John Sweeney's going to make brief remarks here, lead a march down to the plant.
Yeah.
Where he'll make longer remarks, a few other people will make remarks, and then a delegation from the community led by a guy who runs from the religious community, Father Kennedy, I think is his name, is going to lead a delegation to ask the company to recognize the union.
Okay.
And actually may refuse to leave until they do.
At the plant?
There could be civil disobedience at the plant.
Okay.
Unless he agrees to recognize the union, they could also be arrested. What do you think will happen? Do you think
I think we'll probably recognize the union. We may get a chance to see a first contract negotiated right here on the spot. Possibly.
That's what usually happens, right?
Most times. That's what they told us back then, right? Well, you get the cards.
I was in San Francisco yesterday where the Marriott just agreed to a voluntary recognition on the basis of majority of people signing cards.
No kidding.
With no NLRB election based on the city forcing them to make that the quid pro quo for, if you want to open up your hotel here, then it has to be union if majority workers sign cards. So majority workers sign cards, Marriott kicked and screamed, and the mayor stood up there in front of all the press and said, there's a union here now because the majority of people sign cards, and we're going to hold companies accountable that want to come in here and do business.
That's great. That's pretty much the way it works in Maine, I think, isn't it? When the mayors, generally they do that. They demand recognition. We should learn from that experience. So that was San Francisco, California, USA, right?
No more NLRB in San Francisco.
Well, there's other places for the NLRB. Is the board out here today? We got any board agents?
But it was interesting because, you know, what we were saying there was is the NLRB is a virtually useless agency because the National Labor Relations Act, which it relies on, is toothless and doesn't do anything. It ends up really giving, you know, every advantage to the employer instead of employees.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here. This employer is eventually going to call for an election because after he's terrorized everybody,
right,
and that's the game.
Yeah, that's sort of the story that we've faced in a lot of the organizing shows that we've done is the law is supposedly there to protect workers and to, some would say, at least in its original form, to encourage collective bargaining, but it's basically been used to frustrate organizing efforts. And, you know, Richard, we have a rare opportunity to talk to Richard. He's directing the new AFL-CIO's organizing projects around the country. And
I mean, the basic problem with the law is that if you think about during the political season we're in now, where everybody's voting for their presidential candidate, you can vote for Bill Clinton or Bob Dole free of fear. You can heckle them free of fear. You can go to join a religious institution in this country free of fear, but when it comes to joining a union, you're terrorized. And it's really the only democratic right in society that inspires such fear in people because of what employers do. And the law really is basically meaningless today when it comes to
Well, and so we're taking the case to the streets today, which is why everybody's out here, and we're going to have a chance to get around, talk to a few of the workers.
I understand that you personally are going to go on your own hunger fast until the workers at Richmark have won.
Yeah, that's pretty. Or until.
Would you like a last sip of orange juice?
Thank you.
Before you.
We've been on a hunger fast already this morning since we had to leave a lot earlier than we anticipated to get here. But well, great, Richard. Good to see you. You'll be around for a little while, right? So
go tell the president of AFL-CIO that this is 60 minutes.
Yeah, can we get the...
It's a great pleasure introducing to you the president of the National AFL-CIO, Mr. John Sweeney.
Sisters and brothers, I'm really delighted to be here in Everett. I'm not happy about the reason that we're here, but I do want to thank the Massachusetts State Fed and all the labor movement, as well as Jobs with Justice and the ecumenical religious leaders who are working together with us. But most important of all, I want to say a word to our brothers and sisters from Unite. You have a great union, and all across this country every day, workers are being fired for either wearing a union button, or for organizing, or for negotiating, or for just expressing themselves, which they have every right in this world to do. And each of you is to be commended, whether you are the workers who were laid off or you are the workers who walked out in sympathy. You have a right to organize. And the only difference and the only thing that I want to tell you here today is that we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to fight back as a labor movement. We're going to be with you and support you until the very end. You have tremendous courage. We know the sacrifice that you're going through. But we're going to show this employer that you have rights, and there are virtues like justice and fairness and the right to organize and the right to bargain. And I'm happy to be joining you in this display of our unity, of our solidarity here in Everett. I thank the mayor for being with us, as well as all of the rest of you, and I look forward to marching together with you and saying a few more words when we get down to the plant. Thank you.
Si se puede, 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 si se puede.
Follow them.
I mean, the Canadian all.
And I'll let you know.
Make sure you protect you. 10 inside workers the other night with some workers.
Oh, yeah?
And they really want to come out. They are so afraid of not being able to get back in.
Yeah, right.
So I think this is going to do it.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I mean, they are so excited that other people actually recognize them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have not an idea what solidarity is.
Yeah.
And they're seeing it every day.
Yeah.
And we have workers that stay from 5 in the morning till midnight working on different things with us. And I'm not talking 2 or 3 workers. I'm talking 15 or 20 workers.
Really?
But a lot of them have second jobs, and, you know, they need to go to it because they don't have no money.
Sure, yeah. That's a tough thing. Now, so people, I mean, I have not seen you very much in the last 2 weeks because
Right.
you've been down here, but as I understand this, was the first day, the first Monday after they started organizing, the company just foreman walked out and fired some of the people, is that right?
Oh, the first day was Friday, and they fired 5 workers.
5 workers.
Right, and then the following Monday, we went and leafleted in front of the plant, and he came out and fired 3 more right on the spot. One girl wanted to go in and get some of her possessions, and he told the cop to arrest her. She was going to be trespassing. So he got his handcuffs out. He was going to arrest her.
Wow.
So we just, you know, took and got out of there. But, he means it.
Yeah.
And then what they're saying is, if you take back all the fired workers, we'll all come back. But if you don't take us all back, we're not coming back.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So, you know, they do this on their own. They recognize everything they should be doing. It's so great.
That's super. So this is just like, I mean, this is a living, breathing, real world example of what happens when people want to stand up and fight for their rights.
Exactly. I mean, when you can't even go to the bathroom without, not just the supervisor, but the manager timing you outside the door. I mean, if I knew, it's hard for you to even ask to go to the restroom. And water, when it's so hot, they can't drink water on the job.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these are some real serious issues. And these people that are doing homework, average pay of $1.25 to $2 an hour.
$1.25 an hour.
Yeah.
So they actually take work home, and this is like industrial homework.
Right.
They take their bundles.
It's homework. It's $3 a pound is what they get paid. A pound of work takes them anywhere from 3 to 5 hours to make $3. So figure it out, you know. And they do this. They work 8 or 10 hours a day. They go home. They work another 2 to 4 hours on homework just to make that extra, you know, couple of dollars.
It is 1996, folks. In case you were wondering, this is 1996.
And it's all
Massachusetts.
It's all illegal, Mike. I mean, this man doesn't even have a permit. So the Labor Board has filed charges on this, and the Attorney General's running an investigation, and something's going to be done about it. And this here, I think, worries him a little bit.
Well, it's certainly going to call you know, a lot of public attention to what's been going on here.
And this is what attracts everybody's attention. All you have to mention is, you know, here we are, 1996, and they're running a sweatshop right here in Everett.
Yeah.
You know, and this company, sales went up 50% this year, 50%, and the people never got a raise.
Yeah.
They start them out at $5. Workers been here 10 years, 9 years, make $5.25.
Yeah. So you don't have to really just go to Honduras to find a sweatshop, right? And,
No, you don't.
And it's not just Kathy Lee.
No, these people that are selling this stuff, you know, JCPenney, Bradley, we went to Ann and Hope. Ann and Hope has one whole aisle, nothing but Richmark curtains, sheets, tablecloths, you know. We need to let people be aware that these are being made at home, you know, for $1.25, $2 an hour.
Yeah.
It depends on the speed of the person.
Yeah. Made in the USA.
Made in the USA, right at home. You know, and we have some good photos. You know, we've gone into people's homes. Their kids are helping them. It's an assembly line through the family. You know, the older child starts at one process, leads down, and mom sews. You know.
Unbelievable. Whoops. Union, yes.
Sweatshop. You may think so, but hey, you know another thing. Micro.
Nice guy.
Make the delivery. Support them. They tell the people, you know,
Support us, no delivery!
That was a truck that was going to make a delivery here to this company, but because of the picketing of the workers, the truck driver agreed he was not going to cross the picket line and not supply material to this company while all these workers have been fired. That's the kind of support that clearly workers need, is that people will, you know, other workers will back them up when they're in a struggle with their employer and a struggle for justice like these workers at Richmark are. It's really important that other workers support them in whatever way they can. Many of them have come out today to join them. This picket line involves workers. There's 45 workers who've been fired from Richmark, either fired or walked out in support of the ones who were fired. And then there's other workers who have come from different unions. The Teamsters are here, the electrical workers are here, machinists are here. I've seen people from at least half a dozen different unions who've come out this morning. This is a Tuesday morning, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and people have dropped what they're doing. They're coming out here to show their support for these workers who are literally in the fight for their economic lives. So that's why we're here, and I think maybe we can all learn something from this activity.
I'll see if I can get one of the Richmark workers.
There's Robin. Let me see if I can. Okay, we're out here in front of Richmark, and we have a chance to talk to one of the workers who was fired. Lillian was fired from Richmark a few weeks ago. Robin, maybe you could help me in terms of just asking some questions about Lillian, how she came to be involved and what her feelings are.
Él quiere saber cómo usted empezó a ser envuelta en esto y qué pasó con usted. ¿Cuál era su situación?
Yo estaba trabajando, ¿no? El lunes que mis compañeros salieron, yo estaba trabajando todavía, me quedé.
I was working at Richmark, and when the first of my coworkers were fired, I was still working.
Entonces yo le pregunté a mi boss, a mi supervisora.
I asked my supervisor after that.
El manager Jean pensaba hacer con los trabajadores de acá afuera.
I asked her what the manager Jean was thinking about doing with the workers who were outside now.
Y ella me dijo que estaban despedidos de primero, y de allí dijo que ellos podían regresar en el momento que quisieran a trabajar, pero anterior habían dicho que estaban despedidos.
When I asked her, she said those people who are outside are fired right now, and there may be a time when they can come back, but for now, as long as they're involved, they're fired.
Entonces pasó lunes, martes, hasta que llegó el miércoles, y yo no veía que ellos hicieran nada por nuestros compañeros que estaban acá afuera.
So Monday passed and Tuesday passed, and I looked around and saw that this company was doing nothing to help those people who had been unfairly fired.
Entonces ese día miércoles la supervisora llegó a mi mesa y me dijo que si yo me sentía mal por los compañeros que estaban acá afuera, pero que no lo fuera a decir en horas de trabajo a mis compañeros delante de ellos.
So my boss came up to me on Wednesday and said, if I felt bad for my coworkers who are outside, I'd better not say anything to any of my coworkers inside.
Entonces yo le dije que yo no lo había hecho ni lo pensaba hacer ahí a ellos, a mis compañeros. Pero ella en ese momento me dijo que sí, yo lo podía hacer en mi hora de lunch y en la hora de break. Que sí, yo lo podía hacer, me dijo, pero en otra hora no.
So my supervisor said that I could talk with my coworkers during lunch and during break, but she started accusing me of talking about the union during my work time.
Entonces, ese día miércoles, ¿qué fecha?
Miércoles fue, sí.
Ese día miércoles llegó la hora del break y bajamos, eran como a las 10 de la mañana.
So that morning during break, we went down to have our break, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Entonces esperé que mis compañeros se tomaran su café y de ahí me paré y les hablé.
So I waited for for my coworkers to drink their coffee, and then I stood up and started talking.
Y les hablé y les dije que si nosotros como compañeros no nos uníamos para luchar por nuestros derechos, nuestros patrones no lo iban a hacer.
And I said, if we as their coworkers don't stand up for these people outside, the bosses here aren't going to do it.
En ese momento yo estaba hablando, pero en ese momento una de las supervisoras que estaba en el cafetín, se desapareció y fue a llamar a mi supervisora Ana y a Jean.
So one of my supervisors who was watching me in there all of a sudden disappeared from the cafeteria and went to call my supervisors Ana and Jean.
En ese momento yo vi de que todos mis compañeros se pararon nada más y ya tenía a Ana y a Jean atrás de mí y ella me decía que no podía estar ahí haciendo eso porque no podía y que me saliera para afuera.
So the next thing I know, Ana and Jean were behind me, pushing me out, saying that I couldn't be there, talking about the union, and that they were pushing me outside.
Entonces yo le dije que yo sí podía porque yo sabía que era el derecho de nosotros defender nuestros derechos a donde quiera que fuera, siempre y cuando no violáramos las leyes.
I told them that I could be here because I knew that it was our right, whenever we were not on work time, to talk about our rights.
Very good.
Entonces ella me dijo que no podía estar ahí y que me saliera para afuera. O me salía yo o me sacaba ella. O llamaba a la policía como lo había hecho ayer.
And they said, no, you can't. If you don't go out by yourself, we'll push you out, or we'll call the police like we did with the other people.
Entonces yo le dije que como ella quisiera, cuando sentí, me tenía por detrás así, empujada, y me sacó tantito antes de llegar a la puerta, no a que mis compañeros que estaban aquí afuera, para que ellos no me vieran, pero sí, ella y Jean iban a la par de mí con las manos así sobre de mí.
So as soon as break ended, my bosses pushed me out the door when my coworkers wouldn't see and threw me outside.
Entonces, en ese momento yo volteé a ver para atrás y vi de que 7 de mis compañeros iban detrás de mí, apoyándome a mí, porque ellos sabían que la lucha de nosotros era justa aquí y donde sea.
So when I turned around, I saw that 6 of my coworkers had followed me out because they know that this was a fair fight and that we should demand our rights anyway.
Congratulations to you. Thank you for standing up for your rights. Well, there you heard it, folks, firsthand. That's what happens when people have the courage to stand up for their co-workers. Sometimes they get treated the way they were treated by this employer. And that's why she's come back with all her friends today, and that's why we're here.
Yes, sisters and brothers, we're here today because what is happening at Richmark is an outrage. But unfortunately, it is not unusual. All across our country, every day of the year, companies are operating dangerously outside the law. And miles outside the standards of decency we as human beings impose on each other. Sisters and brothers, everywhere I go, I make this point. America needs a raise. When we say America needs a raise, we're not just saying a raise only in wages, but also in morals and spirit. But I have to say today, too much of corporate America has a different version. In too many places, in too many ways, corporate America is using their power over workers to suppress their rights. Like thousands of other workers across our nation, Richmark workers are trying to improve their lives, their families, and their communities. It is wrong. It is wrong for the big foot of business to squash these workers. Americans have God-given rights. Yes, my brothers and sisters, Americans have God-given rights, and we don't lose them when we show up for work. Sisters and brothers, it's an outrage that brings us here together today, but it is solidarity that is the result. Today, here, right here where we are all together, outside Boston, in the cradle of American freedom, we are saying loud and clear, this is wrong. Yes, it is wrong, and we're going to put a stop to it. We're going to do that starting right now, and we're going to do it together. God bless.
Y vamos a detener esto empezando ahora todos juntos.
God bless these courageous workers here and these members of Unite. And we have every obligation and every responsibility and every desire to support them in their courageous fight.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it for this courageous president of the AFL-CIO.
Richard, come on over this way.
We're going to be signing this message to Richmark management, and I hope that each and every one of you will consider signing it as well.
Hi, thanks for all coming out. I'm proud to be part of a delegation of recognized community leaders that is going to go into the plant and meet with the owner of this outrageous company, Richmark. We're proud to be supporting the workers who are really on the line. They've shown a tremendous amount of courage here in this struggle, and we thank them for defending the right on behalf of all of us to organize. I'd like to now introduce the delegation of community leaders who are going to be going in with me to the plant. Elaine Bernard from the Harvard Trade Union Program.
Yay!
Howard Zinn from Harvard University, Professor Emeritus.
Yay!
Father Robert Kennedy from St. Mary's Star of the Sea in East Boston. Jeff Crosby from the North Shore Labor Council and Local 201. Jonathan Fine from the Unitarian Universalists for a Just Economic Society.
Yay!
Angela Burzon, a student at Boston College.
Yay!
Mandy Weiner, who's with Mass Senior Action, Local 2431, and Jobs with Justice. Gladys Vega from Centro Hispano, board member. We have Tito Mesa, also a board member with Centro Hispano. Robin Clark from Unite.
Yay, Robin!
And Kathy Cassavant from the Unite New England Regional Joint Forum.
Yay, Kathy!
Real briefly, before we go in, I'd just like to introduce Kevin Whalen from EBEC, who has been a tremendous support in this entire fight, and Father Kennedy, just to say a quick prayer before we go in. Kevin?
Hi, the East Boston Ecumenical Community Council has housed the workers of this plant who've been on strike and has really helped unite with these workers. And I just want to say that most of these workers are residents of East Boston, and these issues are not just workers' issues, but they're community issues. And there are many community groups in East Boston and in Chelsea who are fighting and putting themselves on the line with the workers, because we see this struggle as one struggle. And I want to introduce a priest from East Boston who has always been in the forefront of workers' rights, Father Bob Kennedy from St. Mary's Star of the Sea.
Let us pray. Oh God, you always hear those who call upon you time and time again. You have delivered your people. Deliver us now from this painful situation. Move the hearts of those who will not yield to the spirit of dialogue and conversation. If we have bitterness, remove that bitterness from our hearts. We pray that simple justice be done here, that men and women who work here may receive a just wage, proper working conditions, so they may support and nourish and nurture their families. We ask you, Lord, We know you deliver your people time and time again. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Father. Okay, our purpose today is on this poster that many of you have signed. If somebody could hold that up. Can you just hold that? Okay. We are going into the plant to speak with the owner, Levanchi, and to make 3 demands of this. 1, we want immediate reinstatement with full back pay of all fired and striking workers. We want recognition of the union that the workers have authorized as their bargaining representative now. And finally, we want immediate negotiations with workers for a just contract. And we members of the delegation have committed to be here for as long as it takes to win these 3 demands. We need your support out here while we go in.
We're waiting outside to try to get in and visit with the owner of Richmark Clothing. The community delegation that you heard introduced a few minutes ago is here to meet with the owner and talk to the owner about a peaceful way to settle the dispute and to reinstate the fired workers. And apparently, here's someone right here.
Maybe we could all introduce ourselves to the delegation.
Okay.
Heather Gonzalez from Justice.
Okay.
Bob Manny Weiner from Mass Senior Action Council.
Elaine Bernard, Harvard Trade Union Program.
Okay.
Tito Mesa from St. Hispano, Chelsea.
Okay.
Father Robert Kennedy, St. Mary's Church, East Boston.
Jim Green, UMass Boston.
Las Vegas, St. Hispano de Chelsea.
Okay.
Jonathan Fine, I'm a physician. I'm from Unitarian Universalist for Just Economic Community.
Angela Borson from Boston College.
Howard Mann, I'm a writer.
Okay.
Jeff Crosby, North Shore Labor Council.
Okay, Jeff. So, I apologize. I'm probably not going to remember all your names, but
The important thing is that, we've been talking with the workers here who have explained that they've been treated very unfairly at your plant here. So we come with 3 demands from the larger community that we represent in order to back up the justice of the workers here. This is the demands that we have right here have been signed by everybody who's at this rally right now. So.
okay. Are we going to?
Can we come in and talk?
Sure. Let me see. I'm just trying to think of where we have an area big enough for all of us.
I've been in the lobby area.
Okay, is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. We going in? Okay. You guys don't mind the working press coming in as long as it's the union press.
You want to come in with us or behind us?
Oh, we're coming right behind you. Okay. We're going in to meet with members of management of Richmark right now. They've invited us in to talk.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Three demands I'd like to see met on behalf of your workers. This is the poster we have here. What we're looking for is immediate reinstatement of the workers that you illegally fired for organizing a union here. We'd like immediate recognition of the union that the workers have voted that they want to have, and immediate beginning of the negotiations of their contract for those workers. That's what we're requesting.
Okay. And I think our attorneys have been in constant discussions with the union's attorneys, and they are in the process of putting together a settlement. And if we're waiting to hear. We thought we might hear this morning that there was a settlement where a lot of the things you're asking for are in there. Beyond that, I really don't feel I should make any other comment because our
being is
people
that
are.
we're not from the union. I have no idea what kind of negotiations are going on. Our concern, I think, from the community is that these are 3 concrete, pretty simple things I think to ask for, and think we're committed to staying here until they're met. So if you could find out from your lawyers if indeed you're offering these three things, or you know, that's what we're here to see right now.
Well, again, you know, I don't know all the labor laws. I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, we're not either.
I know, but I'm very knowledgeable about labor law. If you fired them, it's wrong.
First of all,
we have the right.
Wait.
We have the right to try and organize a union. So
No, we understand it, and obviously
we
there's.
want them reinstated immediately.
We understand that, and obviously there's a difference of opinion of what happened, and that's why we're trying to negotiate a settlement. And I think that the settlement.
So you've recognized the union then?
No.
So you're going to give
No,
automatic recognition?
I said we're trying to negotiate a settlement right now with the union. We've been to the labor board, and our attorneys have.
If you're negotiating a settlement with the union, that means you recognize the union as a bargaining representative.
No, we are not.
No, sir, you don't have to put words in my mouth, okay? There are negotiations going on right now as everyone is outside, and hopefully everyone can agree on the settlement and we can move forward from here.
We can't recognize the settlement without recognizing the union.
If you don't want to move it out, and would you be able to call them up and say, look, how about this for a starter?
Right.
Why don't you do that? We can wait. I understand you want to talk to your lawyers. Why don't you do that?
Okay, but I think our attorneys already know these things, and your attorneys have made, I think, your demands.
We don't have attorney. We're just members of the community. So.
Okay.
We're
Well,
not representing the union. We're representing.
I understand that. And again, I can't speak. I can speak for the union. I can only speak for us. We hope to get a settlement with the union. We were hoping to have it today. And
What is it that you're offering? Why don't you just let people know?
well, I think that's. Well, we've our offer to the union is. Again, I don't know. I don't have it all in front of me. I'd rather not comment.
Why don't you call your lawyers and find out
That
what you've offered?
would move us off this time right now, so.
Okay.
Do this as a start. What you do in a contract, that's between you and them, but this would get us moving.
Okay, that's fair enough. And you know, well, okay, fair enough. Well, let me try and get a hold of them again.
Right,
and we'll
We'll wait.
Okay.
Okay, we'll wait while you call.
All right.
Could someone volunteer to go back and tell people outside what we're doing?
Kathy, who was that guy? We don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Did anybody get the name here?
No, we don't.
We should go to the cafeteria.
It's still Levanchi.
That was the owner? Okay.
Yeah, that's Levanchi.
That's Levanchi. Okay. Well, he's the guy who's got the power to make a deal. He needs to talk.
The guy that was standing behind us?
No, the guy who's talking. Apparently, is the CEO.
He's Levanchi.
Yes. When he came out, he said he was Levanchi.
Okay, I didn't hear what he said when he first walked in.
I had actually met him, the guy that was standing there when I was here on last Wednesday to get somebody's paycheck. They let me in to get somebody's paycheck. So I met them both then.
To get a hold of the union attorney, Ann Sills is her name, and you know, this case is before the National Labor Relations Board, and that's where the negotiations are going on. I cannot negotiate with you people. We have, there's a system and, you know, a procedure for this. And, you know, while I appreciate your concerns, I mean, we're concerned too, and we would like to get it resolved. And hopefully that will happen soon.
Yeah, no, we're here to make sure it gets resolved and immediately. So, I mean, we're willing to just sit and wait here until, I mean, you can decide to recognize the union immediately. I don't think you need lawyers to do that. You know, we've got cards from...
No, we can't.
Well, we'll just wait here until that happens.
You're not going to wait here physically in the building. You can wait outside.
I think we will, because we've all come together here from different aspects of the community. These are the things that the workers have come to us with in terms of demands, and we're here to back them up, and you know, we're dedicated to staying for as long as it takes to see this happen.
Well, we ask you to leave our property now. Now, if you don't want to leave the property, we'll need to have the police have you leave. This is our property, our place of business.
we
and we have
invited
rights
you in to
also.
talk.
We invited you in fairness.
We're willing to talk. We're willing to talk, but wait a second. We're willing to talk, but I want to say this, that we sooner or later, you're gonna recognize the union. You might as well do it now. You might as well do it now and save yourself a lot of grief for the future. I've been involved with negotiations all my life.
What kind of grief are you talking about, sir? I mean,
What kind of grief? You're going to get penalized by the Labor Relations Board.
So you're familiar
You're gonna have disgruntled workers. If you want to get production, you have to have workers that are satisfied with the conditions. You're not satisfying the conditions. And I'm saying that if you're smart, we're not negotiating. We're just saying the union should be your bargaining representatives, and you start negotiating, and you work out the deals you want.
I understand over 50% of the workers have signed cards saying they want a union.
They want a union.
They voted, that's what they want, and that should be recognized right away.
Right.
Well, I'm sure you're aware there's a process for that. And we are trying to get to that process where if they petition for the votes, if they petition for a vote, we more than welcome a vote, and that's part of the settlement.
There's actually, just so in case there's any lack of clarity there's actually two processes. If the majority comes in, signs up, you recognize them, then you got no bad feelings. It gets you a good start on a positive footing to establish a relationship. That's the one we're asking about. The one that you're talking about, you can't allow attorneys to come in and delay it for a long, long time. So the process we're talking about has happened many times. It's a common practice. It's legally sound. Your attorneys will tell you the same thing I'm telling you. We're saying let's get off on a good footing, start the ball moving, and get the thing resolved. It's simple. It's just voluntary recognition of the majority who have signed, and we're off and running.
Okay. And I would like nothing better than to get off on a good foot and to get the process rolling. The way to do it is we've been to the National Labor Relations Board. They've heard the case, and the attorneys are negotiating the settlement. I can't negotiate with you people. That's not up to me anymore. Okay? There's a process for it. The process is taking place now. We will honor whatever agreement we come up with the union, and we hopefully can go forward and be productive, and and the workers and everybody can prosper in the long run.
And is firing 8 people in the first 3 days of the campaign part of that process?
Well, I'm not going to comment on all that. We've made our statements. We never fired anybody. We laid some employees off. Our backlog of orders has dropped dramatically, and
they're not working, so it's the same to them, whatever you call it. They can't feed
Well, I
their kids
understand
right
that.
now. So,
but,
like I said, these are the things we're asking for. If you want to
Justice
be
delayed
working,
is justice denied. I mean, you can bugger around with this for days and days and days. These workers are not employed. They need to get back to work.
I have no other comment. The people who walked out, we laid off 7 people. There were some other people that walked out in support. We've invited all those people back to work. Many of them have come back to work. I can't speak for all the people outside now. I can only say that the people who walked out have always been welcome to come back. But we have to run our business, and that's all. That's the only comment. But that's the only comment I'm going to make at this point.
Just wait until the
Just want to ask one question. You say that people walked out. You say you laid off people because of lack of work, right?
Yes, I did say that.
Then if people walked out, you need more workers. Did you call them back to people you laid off?
Are you saying you realized there was a lack of work when people were out leafleting in the morning?
All right, this is the end of the
No,
conversation.
there's no other comment.
Now.
I'm
all
not
right,
making
this is
any
our
more
place
comment.
of business, all right? We invited you in. We're asking you to leave now. We like these people. It's our place of business. We invited them in good faith. Talk about this. We're going to discuss it. All right, fine. My name is Gene Wells.
Well, folks, for those of you who just tuned in late to our show, this is another edition of Cavanaugh's Corner live on the road. We're here in the lobby of Richmark Clothing in Everett, Massachusetts, where the company has fired a group of workers who were trying to organize a union. Others have walked out in support. We've been here talking to a rally, and there's currently a a group of citizens, local community leaders, priests, professors, others from the community who've come to support the workers. And let's tune in.
Of private property. He has the right to tell you that you're trespassing, and as such, you have to leave the property. We're going to give you a moment to get your thoughts together and to leave.
Well, I think all of us are prepared right now to just stay because we know our demands and
It's an issue of justice.
You don't need to discuss.
Okay.
It's an issue of justice, not of property.
Right. Very good.
Well, we've got a little conflict here, folks. We have private property rights being asserted, and we have the rights of justice and dignity for workers being asserted, and you're catching it all here live on Cavanaugh's Corner. Really? Absolutely. While we're waiting, Howard.
Their attorney is standing out front. He asked me to give him a little bit of an advance notice if we're going to remove people from the building. How you doing? Lieutenant
So,
Henry.
this is a somewhat different tactic that the workers and the unions are taking. What do you think about this kind of a problem?
Well, you say it's a different tactic. No, it's not really a different tactic in the history of the labor movement, you know, because the history of the labor movement is full of direct action of people sitting in. I think of the sit-down strikes of the 1930s. People sat down, and there too they were, you know, technically trespassing, technically violating rights of private property. There too, you know, the issue was the rights of private property versus the rights of working people. And, you know, so this is an old union tactic. It's just that people have forgotten that, and they think that the only kind of union tactic is to go to the National Labor Relations Board or to go to the courts and wait for a decision. But unfortunately, the National Labor Relations Board and the courts have not been very favorable to labor, to unions, to working people. And what that, you know, very often results in is delays of months or years before people get their rights.
What do you think would happen here if they ultimately held an election after long delays, after these workers being fired and intimidated? What do you think would be the results of that?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, because, you know, one of the purposes of delay and one of the purposes of intimidation and arrests is to frighten workers, especially workers who come from another country and they don't feel secure. And, you know, they could be intimidated into sort of dropping their support for the union. Right now, as I understand it, the majority of them have signed cards declaring that they want a union. And, you know, one way to erode that majority support by the management is to scare the people who are working there. I mean, it's the basic tactic of management when they try to destroy unions, to scare people. We're going to fire you, well, as they have done with a number of people here, fire you if you organize a union. So, yeah, people may be intimidated.
Well, there's an interesting historical perspective that's being brought here, and for those of you who've tuned in late, we're having a chance to talk with Professor Howard Zinn of Boston University, one of America's greatest known labor historians and social historians. Great opportunity to have you here. And we're sort of living history.
I'm not the only labor historian
That's right.
here.
You see Jim Green over here, too. Really?
Jim Green is here.
Really?
He's a real labor historian.
And I'm sorry, you are?
I'm Lieutenant Henry, and I'm just going to ask you to leave also, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you could wrap it up. And
well, I guess we're going to, because we're not part of the official delegation, so I want to, okay, we got to get this back to the studio, so thank you very much, Howard, officer. Okay, see you guys later. We got to go. Bye. Hey, we wouldn't have missed it. Okay, well, we're heading out the door a few minutes ahead of the rest of our delegation, who will be coming out as well. And there's a rally still going on out here.
What's happening in there?
They're about to, I think, have the delegation escorted out by the police. It seems like they're about to arrest them. The management, the CEO, I guess it was, spoke with the workers, the delegation for a while. And essentially their message was that they're trying to settle this between the lawyers, and this is a lawyer thing, and this is a private property thing, to which the delegation responded, this is a workers' rights issue, it's not an issue of property rights. So
this has nothing to do with lawyers. This has everything to do with a group of workers, a large majority of whom want to be part of a union and want to be recognized. We can settle this recognition issue today. We can settle it in 5 minutes. We're willing to prove that we have a majority. And then we'll sit down and negotiate a contract with them. But the lawyer business is just a sham. It's just crap.
Ed Clark, the manager and vice president of Unite in the New England region. Ed, one of the things the company says inside is that they're trying to work this out with the lawyers, and let's settle this through a vote. What do you think about a vote, if a vote is held among a group of workers who've gone through the harassment, intimidation, and discharges these people have gone through?
Well, I think the first thing the company is going to do is to try to put off the date of that election and continue to harass people and intimidate people. It's clear that what people want is a union, and we're willing to prove that. The company wants more time to harass and intimidate and fire people. They're not willing to bring people back into the plant who they've fired with full back pay, and that's one of our prime conditions. A vote is not necessary here when there's another way of indicating that we have a majority support. This is an election sham. This is like the old elections they had in South Vietnam back in the 1960s.
Yeah, that's another show, folks.
When and where will they be held out again? Taken out of as soon as we can make arrangements, we're trying now to some writing assistance to help us with it. When do you think that might happen? 15, 20 minutes. As soon as we can. Is it coming out of this store? You bring them out of this store? Well, I look like I'm a rookie. No, I mean, we'd like to. I'm not going to bring them out of this store. No. Well, they're very nice people. Oh, I don't mean for the. I mean just if we could get some pictures of when it happens. That's all. I don't want you to start a riot. I was wondering if you bring it out of a different door. If you could tell us when it is. I'll let you know. Okay. Thanks, Chief. Yeah.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? What do we want? Justice! ¿Qué queremos? Justicia! Ahora! 2, 4, 6, 8! 2, 4, 6, 8! What do we want?
Please.
please.
He's not the only one. I live in Everett. I pay taxes. I lived here 55 years. How long were you here, Chief? You weren't here no 55 years in this community. You're a visitor. You're a visitor. I lived here for 55 years. You didn't know Everett 55 years ago.
Go back, take your people.
Bullshit. He didn't know Everett 55 years ago. My grandparents went through the same bullshit. Yeah, I know you have to be here.
Where are you from? What local union? And
I'm from Glazers Local 1044. I live in Everett.
Okay, and you had a few comments for the chief out there. Could you tell us what you were talking to him about?
Oh, basically he's dictating what happens in this community. He's a guest himself. He came from outside and he got the job in the city of Everett. And he's trying to tell us he's worried about the people in the community, which is a lot of bull.
You mentioned something about your grandparents having gone through this.
Yeah, my grandparents. I've been in the labor movement all my life, my 55 years. When my grandparents and my parents came over from Italy, from Sicily, they were discriminated even more, being Sicilians. Yeah. And when they came here, they were exploited the same way as these people were exploited. You know, and it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start here. This shouldn't be happening in the city of Everett. Yeah. The city of Everett's been a strong blue-collar community for 100 years, right? And people always, the men and women always got a decent wage. There's a lot of union people in Everett, and to have this happening right underneath, 2 minutes from my house is deplorable.
So that's what brought you down here today, just outraged about what happened to workers.
That's right.
All right.
It should be happening in the city.
Well, I think the rally here in Everett is about breaking up. We caught the Citizens Commission for Justice that went inside have been arrested. They've been taken off to jail. Union attorneys are going over right now to the courthouse to try to bail them out and continue to make this case publicly here in the city of Everett and around the greater Boston area that Unite is not going to go away. We're not going to abandon the workers who were fired for standing up for their rights. And that's what it's all about. So thanks for joining us, and I'm signing off. It's been another interesting on-the-road edition of Cavanaugh's Corner. Tune in again next week. Bye.